Hello, everyone. Um, Today, I want to share my review of a very powerful and thoughtful provoking talk by Daniel Ashping titled The Puzzle of Motivation. This talk was published in 2009 on the TEDx stage. A little on Dan Peck. He, he is a writer, career analyst, and speaker who has studied and written on motivation, work, and human behavior. His book Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us expand on many of the ideas in this talk. In the puzzle of motivation, Ping challenged conventional wisdom about what motivates people, especially in workplaces, schools, and in creative or complex tasks. His central idea is the typical correct and strict reward and punishment approach often fails for tasks requiring real thought, creativity, and deep engagement. Over the next few minutes, I will walk you thought through the strengths and weaknesses of these arguments, share what resonated with me and what I question, and then end with a summary of the key talkways. I will break this part in themes, ideas, evidence and examples, and critic reflections. Theme number one, the mismatch between science and practice. One of Pink's opinions claim is that there is a gap or mismatch between what social science knows about human motivation and how many businesses and organizations actually behave. He says that while many managers still default to external rewards, bo- bonuses, raises, incentives. Science suggests that for tasks requiring cognitive effort, these incentives might actually backfire. This is a strong pivot in his talk. He is not just arguing for a new, nice to have idea. He is saying that many ingrained practices are ineffective and sometimes even harmful when applied blindly. Theme 2, extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. Pink draws a clear distinction between extrinsic motivation, external reward, monetary incentives, punishments, and intrinsic motivator, internal drives such as satisfaction, interest, meanings. He argues that extrinsic motivator can work for simple tasks, routine, mechanical, or when there are very clear rules, but that when you need deep deeper thinking, creativity, or flexible problem solving. Extrinsic incentives tend to undermine performance. Pink sits experiment including some base in physiology and economics that show people offer medium rewards sometimes do know better than those given low rewards, especially on tasks that require more brain power. He uses this evidence to argue that relying too heavily on extrinsic rewards is not only outdated but counterproductive in many modern work and learning settings. Themes 3. The new operating system, autonomy, mastery, purpose to place or complement extrinsic incentives. Pink proposes three elements that drive deeper motivation. Commentator, many commentator call this his AMP model in anatomy, mystery, purpose. Anatomy, giving people control over what they do, when they do it, how they do it, and with whom. Ping argue that anatomy support a greater engagement and innovation. Mastery, the desire to get better, to improve, to develop skills. Ping emphasize that mastery is a continual process, not a fixed goal. Purpose, the longing to do work that is meaningful and is part of something large than ourselves. Purpose, draw people beyond just earning money. He argues that when organizations align work around these elements, motivational is deeper, more sustainable, and more conduct, con, uh, conducive to creativity and fulfillment. Evidence stories and presentation style. Pink does not just talk abstractly, he anchors his ideas with experiment stories and metaphors. For example, he mentioned the candle problem, a classic physiology experiment to show how incentives can hinder creative thinking. Second, he uses humor rhetorical devices, especially the rule of three and narrative structure, opening with a case rather than a story to maintain engagement. His presentation is accessible, combining logical argumentation, logos, creativity, ethos, and emotional resonance, pathos. A speech critic mentioned he frames his talk like a court case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case. From a stylistic view, the talk is strong, persuasive, and well structured. The passing use of contrast, the blending of storytelling and data make it memorable. Critic and reflection. No talk is perfect, and here are some points I personally questioned or think you should mention in your views. Overgeneralization risk. While pink arguments are complaining the blunt contrast between extremes bad and instincts good, risk oversimplifying complex contexts. Some tasks or roles might indeed require external inspective incentives, um uh, factory works, safety complaints. The talk sometimes glosses over these nuances. Difficulty in implementation. Easier to say give people autonomy than to actually structure organization to do this in practice. In large system with hierarchical structure, legal rules, or strict accountability, granting autonomy can be challenging. Pink hints at these barriers but does not dive deep into how to overcome them. Motivation for unit trusting task. What about work that is respective on or not inherently meaningful? If someone does job they never care about, can autonomy, mastery, and purpose always transform that job? Ping framework best when there at least some buy-in or potential 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 for meaning. It might not fully convert every kind of work. Cultural and individual difference. People vary in what motivates them. Pink model is somewhat universal is tone, but cultural values, personal preference, and context might mediate how autonomy of a purpose is experienced. A one size model may not always apply equally, and more especially would help. The talk is very persuasive at a high level, but for listeners wanting to apply these ideas, more specific step by step guidance or real case study would strengthen. The speech critic notes that the conclusion is sweeping and he could have offered more considered next steps. So, this is the review.